chat, but
I can look at your chat actually.
oh yeah, if you could, okay, yeah, if you can let me know if anything interesting. Okay, hello everybody.
I think my stream is working now.
Great. Okay, so yeah, as you heard, that's Vaiski. You presumably have heard of me by some point. If you're here, if you're not, I guess hello. Hello, I'm Ninja You. This is Vaiski, my editor for the main channel and all-round LU meme lord, and also guy currently with world record on the monument speedrun, who's going to go as quickly as possible, probably to, well, we'll see how far. Because, yeah, today's challenge is I'm going to attempt to commentate him live and see how far I can get. So there's also a chance that, oh no, we were just going to do it to the end of Avant Gardens because otherwise I have to keep up with you. Or maybe I just change account. You get to the end of Avant Gardens, I have to change account.
I mean, my timer, I can use the timer so that or something. Wait, no. Why would I use a timer? I can stop at like the end of each level, so that's like a checkpoint for you.
Well, yeah, but I'm just gonna because I'm just gonna be trying to run alongside you. I'm not gonna bother completing the missions. So let's just. But yeah, so this is the plan. I should also say for anyone listening in chat, I probably won't be checking chats, but apparently Vaiski. I won't be checking chat because I think commentating and like keeping this exciting and coming up with stuff to say is going to be too hard. Vaiski, the one who's actually speedrunning, apparently is like, yeah, I'll check chat, it's fine. So.
Okay, so do we want to make it so that I'm speedrunning or yeah, let's do it. Okay.
I think
I'm actually getting my time up.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got two things we want to do over the coming weeks. One of them is going to be, well, yeah, one of them is me commentating Vaiski speedrunning. The other, at some point, we're looking forward to doing is Vaiski trying to murder me, basically, whilst I try and do a hardcore LU run, which is gonna be so hard. Because what I realised as well is missions, like anything with a camera, where they hold fix you in place, I've got to like either smash you or something. I don't have a plan for that. We may need to do a rule that you can't kill me during a cutscene or something, because otherwise that's going to be impossible.
We could like make a rule that I can only hit you when you are moving.
Yeah. It's just like I make it to Avant Gardens, Wisply, get smashed right away. Actually, I guess Bob fixes you in place. No, Jet. Yeah. Jet fixes you in place as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I am. So yeah, Vaiski is getting up stuff for speedrunning because he is pro gamer and actually has live split. Oh, and I am nearly falling off the edge of Adventure Explorer. Literally on my own, nearly dying. No enemies.
Okay, yeah, I gotta delete one character. I'm not gonna delete McDonald's. He is legendary. Okay. Oh, I don't have chat on this stream overlay. I'm almost done with everything. I mean, like, I'm almost there. Like,
No worries.
There we go.
But yes, so to everyone here, I hope you enjoyed the recent random maths content. Really, just like, yeah, okay, now. I mean, this is Ninja Wallog. Literally, Wallog was like a maths word reference because I figured I would spend time on this channel randomly talking about maths. I did not expect that the first bit of maths I really did on this channel would be at like starting at 11:30 at night, getting a message from someone on the LUCH and being like, oh yes, I see this is like a nice quadratic formula. I know the answer to this or I can see where we get the answer to this problem from. And several hours later, it took me. I ended up recording a 1 hour and 30-minute thing and another 1 hour and 50-minute thing. It took me that long to solve it. That was awful. It's like, yes, this will take me 10 minutes.
I mean, it was also interesting to see that because I was like, oh, it's like when the first video uploaded, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a fun little math video. And then I click on it and it's like 90 minutes long.
I thought it would be a fun little maths video. I thought it was going to be like a nice cool thing I can show how this is done, or like I can show some cool tricks. Like I was thinking, okay, maybe if I find it difficult, I can use some like partial derivative techniques, and that'll be quite cool. I could do like multivariate Taylor series, some like really fancy stuff that's probably entirely unnecessary, but you know, I can do it if I need to. Because like I tried that still didn't work. And the only thing that ended up working was me guessing some trial solutions and managing a random proof by contradiction. It was like, never imagine you know what you're doing with a problem until you have solved the problem, is I guess the message from that. It was so bad.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I can also turn on DLU audio.
I just created the LU character I always use, so that it's gonna be easier for you to detect.
Ah, nice, yeah.
Because if I just use the random character, it would be like maybe a bit more confusing.
Well, I'm hoping I won't lose you that quickly, given that I don't have to do any missions in the time you're doing them, but I still might.
You just see like a red flash run around. Okay. I think the timer... No, okay, yeah.
Timer starts.
Okay, I'm launching into VE. No, just...
Nice. Okay. And here we have, on the starting line, we have Vaiski Macrocosm, who today is, well, I guess, Vaiski Macrocosm? Yeah, you're doing, well, you're Vaiski, who cares about the ending thing? Okay, and today on the starting line, we have Vaiski, who is today going to be going for a speedrun, potentially, at the very least, the end of Avant Gardens. We will see how much further he wants to go at the end of this. This is going to be quite an exciting speedrun. It will be a live, commentated speedrun. So please make sure, if you're interested in seeing this video from his perspective, please make sure to check out his channel. I will be running alongside him. I will be commentating, probably in more or less this voice, for the entirety of the video. So we're going to see how long I can do this before eventually I die inside. And, okay, so for anyone wondering, the timer and the speedrun will begin when Vaiski presses shift with Jet Moonshot. Obviously, we can't see that. Well, I can't see that, but presumably on Vaiski's... And I'm dead. Presumably on Vaiski's stream, you'll be able to see that. Okay, this is a good start to the video.
I can make a countdown.
Okay, well, do you want to... Okay, yeah, so do you want to... well, do you just want to count down, say when you're starting, and... Okay, we have...
3,
get excited.
2, 1...
And he is off. He pressed enter very, very quickly because he is currently stuck in a cutscene. I'm going to keep jumping around him. And here he goes. He is off. The spamming enter, the technique of everybody to get through missions. Because for those who don't know, you press shift to start a mission. You press enter to accept the mission. And very often, if you're in a series of missions, you will be completing one mission, hitting enter to complete it, and hitting enter to accept the next mission. And very quickly goes through, gets to Bob, because he needs to get to Bob early on in this in order to get imagination. He'll need to collect imagination for future missions to get off. One of the things you'll notice about LU is it's very, very ordered by quest chains. And so at more or less any point in time, there'll be a limited number of tricks and skips Vaiski can do, because he will always have to be completing one thing for the next quest. But hopefully we'll see some of the things he can do to make it very fast. And you see there, very quick turnarounds. So you can't see on my accounts the platforms they're on. I will try and run behind. So these 3 platforms we're just in, where the imagination is. And so some very, very quick movement. I'd say quicker movements on the first set, a little bit slower on the second, but still fast overall. And you hear the spamming enter of someone who is trying desperately to accept and decline missions. And one of the problems with this sometimes is for people who are getting new to speedrunning, they'll find out that when you hit enter, you also open up local chat, and sometimes people hit enter, open up local chat, and will get stuck typing, and I mean, I do this regularly myself. And okay, Vaiski, they're going with the first major speed up of this, which is the fact that, yeah, I'm just going to stand on this and get built for me. With the first major speed up of this run, which is talking to Skylane. Skylane, you can go to Skylane, and Skylane will tell you to go and collect rocket parts. The first major speed up is going to collect those rocket parts in advance, and as you can see beneath, there is one of every colour of rocket part down there. And those colours are important because each colour corresponds to a particular rocket component, and by running through those 3, you can guarantee that you will get all the rocket components you need. Vaiski is, of course, a professional OSU player, and...
I can't build my rocket.
And this is potentially where the run ends.
Yeah, we can keep going. Okay, the imagination hat kind of broke things, but okay, now it works.
Okay, and yeah, Vaiski is an O2 player. He is typically very quick at building the rockets here, and I'm going to get in there first. I possibly didn't. I don't know. You can't see because there is server latency. I think I did. I got in there slightly ahead. Okay, so I will hopefully be in and will have loads into Avant Gardens before Vaiski has. But fortunately, I'm not going to be playing through the same quest chains as Vaiski, which will mean that all I need to do is keep up with him in terms of his position, not in terms of his quest chain progress, which is going to be difficult on the monument, but I might run ahead and get some quicksicles. And Vaiski, ever a true speedrunner, his character is already loaded in by the time I make it here. It's very impressive, very impressive. I'm going to quickly...
you know, like the thing you see when you start building like at the islands or like the properties?
Yeah.
That's endlessly like now stuck on my screen.
Oh.
Like I have like a place models on my top right and like 99.999 plus like
oh yeah.
performance rating.
Nice.
So,
I mean,
I don't know if it's like a flex on my PC. It's
well,
like
no, it's not a flex on your PC. That's standardized for people with PCs like my old one. That's standard for things like the Godiplex. Anyway, so we have Vaiski making short work of these missions. These missions, people like Vaiski have done it many times before. He's just stuck in a cutscene now, I think. Stuck in cutscene now, and he's just equipped his first weapon. Of course, equipped first weapon as a proud member of the Spear Gang. Vaiski would always go for Spear. There is some discussion, some jokes between speedrunners, or not between speedrunners, but between the community as a whole, as to which weapon is the best in early game. Mostly, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference in the early game, but there is a slight advantage to the Spear, which gives you slightly extra range. Vaiski, true speedrunner, knows this and has gone for the Spear. You can see here as well, he's building these quick builds, these turret quick builds, because he is currently doing a mission to smash 15 Stromlings. However, it's far more efficient to try and build these quick builds in order to smash the Stromlings. I should probably avoid being nearby because I don't want to confuse the enemy AI and don't want to invalidate this in any way, shape, or form. And yes, so quickly completes the first 15. Doesn't have to do much of the work himself, but you may have noticed he really takes advantage of the fact that with the spear you can double jump, you can ground pound, and you can smash multiple Stromlings at once. This is a brilliant thing for when you're trying to build trying to rebuild a turret, especially in this area over there, because the Stromlings in that area have relatively short respawn times, and all of them will spawn in range of that. And Vaiski here having a little bit of trouble with the bus, because the physics on that can be a little bit delayed. Some trouble with the bus, gets through it, it's fine. And it comes up to Beck Strongheart. Beck Strongheart now is going to make him cheer for the Sentinels, going to make him get some armor polish, and will then give him a hat. Whilst Vaiski is over there trying to buy the armor polish, he may choose to sell excess items, but will also be going. Probably won't, because he needs to do this run quickly. You can see he's equipped a hat. That's going to get him some extra imagination. Imagination won't be too important in this run, but it's always nice to be equipping the extra stuff you get along the way. And he's going to be not just be getting armor polish here as he's asked for in the quest chain, but he'll also be getting a sentinel shield, and he's getting quicksicles as well. I should possibly consider getting some quicksicles myself, because otherwise keeping up with Vaiski is going to be very difficult. So now going back to talk to Beck Strongheart, who will be telling him. At the moment, I really needed to get more quicksicles than that. He'll be telling him to now go out onto the battlefield and smash some Strongling mechs. You see him getting knocked very high into the air there. That's a little bit of a client-server disagreement, but the mech's attacks do knock characters away. The mechs have two attacks. One of them will shoot, and one of them will shoot a bowl of energy, as you saw there, and the other attack is to knock you back away. The one attack does the knocking you away does 0 damage, and that can actually be quite useful in certain circumstances. And the shot attack does 1 damage. I'm going to try and de-aggro these Stromlings from me, because otherwise they will interfere with Vaiski's run, and I don't want them to be Stromlings. So you may have seen above the Stromlings' heads there, this is something that's become quite important in DOE recently, which is that de-aggroing has recently been implemented. You won't see much of it in Avant Gardens, but it's quite an important feature that enemies, when you leave them alone, will return to their original position and will gain a red a red stop sign above their head, and this also corresponds to them resetting their health, which for bosses and certainly for more difficult bosses like Butterscorch, and if we do see dragons later on, this may become quite important. I'm currently being chased around by Stromlings, but as you can see, they more or less can't catch you. You can keep running, and Vaiski's currently just got to get mechs. He seems to have gotten everything for the mechs, and again is having difficulty with the bus. But
Why?
the mechs, the bus on recent versions, I believe DLU reduced their server tick, and now the bus is sometimes a little bit slower. So we'll now see Vaiski. Oh, I will actually help out there because that is a bug. That is a bug, and Vaiski should, that. So currently on the current version of DLU, these Sentinel faction guards can't always be guaranteed to shoot, which is why I jumped in, and I guess I will also jump in survival. I can't do that. Okay, I can't. Yeah. You've got to start without me because I haven't done the missions. Okay, so we're going to very quickly imagine what Vaiski will be doing in survival, and we'll commentate it with my guesses as to what he's doing. Let me know when you load in so I can fully continue doing this. Early in Avant Gardens, there isn't too much you can do to speed up things in the quest chain. If you're watching Vaiski's stream, you've already seen him do some of the small things you can do to speed things up. So specifically, some small speed ups you can do are getting the Sentinel Shield early, because yes, LU is very, very largely related on quest chain progress, and you can't basically break the quest chains out of order typically. However, you can prepare in advance for quests you know you're going to get, and so that's what we saw Vaiski doing there, and we will also potentially, we'll see whether or not he does this, but a common strategy is to begin looking quite early on to get Maelstrom bricks. And I'm sure if you saw Vaiski's stream, if he got any Maelstrom bricks early on, you would have seen them. Vaiski, are you actually loaded into survival right now?
What?
Are you loaded into survival right now? Because you're still here on my screen.
Oh, I am definitely in survival.
Okay, and Vaiski is currently in survival, so this is the aim of the survival challenge. You have been set a challenge by Beck Stronghearts. The aim is to last for 1 minute in total. This 1 minute is normally fairly easy. It's designed to be easy for players early on in the game, but if you're going... But there is potentially some strategy to be had as to whether or not you go for the longer periods of time, which they're definitely survivable as a single player, and to potentially get some items early on in the game. This Vaiski as someone who is primarily speedrun AG, probably not be doing this strategy, but it's an interesting thing he can consider. And he's running over here to one of the most RNG dependent stages of this run. He's talking to Epsilon Starcracker. That's not the RNG dependent thing. You can always talk to Epsilon Starcracker. Epsilon Starcracker will always be there for you. But one of the more RNG dependent stages of this run, I've just realised I also can't get myself the Monuments hat. I've made some bad mistakes. One of the more RNG dependent stages of this run, you talk to Wisply, and Wisply will ask you to get Maelstrom bricks for him. If you saw earlier on Vaiski's stream, if ever something dropped a Maelstrom brick, he would have picked it up. And the reason for this is because, well, Maelstrom bricks are arguably the greatest slowdown in any Avant Gardens run whatsoever. They are largely RNG dependent. You need to smash lots of enemies, and this can be make or break for a run. You'll see Vaiski here employing lots and lots of the same strategies as he was employing to smash the 15 Stromlings earlier, which is that he'll be building mech turrets, he'll be smashing mechs and building mech turrets. This is brilliant twofold, because you get two advantages to this. The first advantage you get is that you have the opportunity when you smash the mech in the first place, you have the opportunity to get a Maelstrom brick when it smashes, but also you can then run away. I should probably stop aggroing these Stromlings, so I will run over here so they de-aggro. No, okay, they're just going to get smashed by Wisply. Okay, not Wisply, Epsilon Starcracker. Anyway, so we can see Vaiski over here. I think Vaiski is having some difficulty with that particular quick build. Quick builds can be a bit glitchy on DLU, but no, it's fine. He gets it. One of the challenges for these runs can potentially, especially less significant in a speed run, but far more problematic in hardcore EU runs, can be the fact that that Stromlings and enemies can quite easily swarm you, especially in this area. This area in particular, very dangerous for getting swarmed when you're trying to build the Stromling mech quick build. Vaiski, though, not having any problems with this. He's low on armor, getting a little bit low on health now, but it's fine. It's fine because he knows when he quick builds things and smashes things, he'll be able to get more, and he knows there's stuff over by Epsilon Starcracker, so armor isn't going to be a huge concern for Vaiski at this stage in the speedrun. The only time we'll see armor becoming difficult is where armor becoming problematic is when we get to late stage in the speedrun, especially if we decide to continue this speedrun past Avant Gardens and continue on towards Dragon Battle. It's going to be a real trade-off between whether or not you get armor and you gear yourself up in preparation for the Dragon Battle, or whether you just go straight for it. Because the Dragon Battle, I believe, is possible to get more or less the instant you reach Nimber Station, but obviously it's very difficult and it's significantly slower as well to smash a dragon when you don't have as much gear. It's technically possible with some skips known as with some spring jump skips. It is technically possible to get to the Dragon Battle, I believe, but it is not. But yes, there's very much a trade-off to be had as to how geared up you get and the amount of time you spend trying to get geared up. You also need to think carefully about which areas you go to, because not all areas loot is equal. So you can see Vaiski now, I believe that is the prismatic baseball cap. Prismatic baseball cap you get from an achievement. I believe it is for rebuilding many strongling mechs. Robo repair, I believe the achievement is possibly the first Robo repair achievement. This prismatic hat is kind of a classic of the LU wardrobe, and it comes with 1 armor, 1 imagination. It's quite useful. Things we have not noticed so far, which may differ from those of you who have seen hardcore EU runs. We have not seen Vaiski going for heart flags yet, because heart flags far less important in this run. They take time out. You need to go out of your way to get them, and we probably won't see Vaiski aiming for them in this run, because heart flags are far less important than getting armor, because armor is significantly more plentiful. Well, obviously significantly more plentiful than a hardcore EU run. And okay, yes. So this is why I should not check chat. This is why I said I was not going to check chat. I see Century Spicy South, and just instantly train of thought is gone. I see Century Spicy Spouser in chat saying something along the lines of, I'm training to become an auctioneer. This is true. This is my training to become an auctioneer. I have decided to drop physics. I'm going to become an auctioneer. And we see Vaiski very quickly. Has he made a rookie error? He has made a rookie error. This is a very classic error that many speedrunners make, which is you see Wisply. You see Wisply is going to give you the Maelstrom vacuum, which you just saw Vaiski place down there, and but the missions come in 2 steps. The first mission there is to place down the Maelstrom vacuum, and the second one is to get the bricks. A common mistake is to go too early, and Vaiski, interesting use of Quickscore there. He uses Quickscore very early on. We'll see whether or not that pays off for him. Normally the Maelstrom bricks are quite close together, but as we'll see, Vaiski didn't run up. There were evidently the Maelstrom bricks spawning on the client side. And so they are only visible to clients who currently have that mission. So I cannot currently see them, but we can see where Vaiski's doing it. So a common strategy for these bricks is to do as many of them as possible around here, because the bricks, they're all on respawn timers, and as you begin to take up bricks, they'll respawn in new places, and so most of the time you can get almost all of the bricks by just remaining in this area. It's not necessarily always the case, but most of the time it will be. Older versions of DLU, people may have seen, you could get multiple bricks simultaneously in with one place down. This occurred because respawn timers, the respawning of bricks didn't used to work properly, and this would also account for the fact that you couldn't necessarily guarantee to be able to farm all your bricks over here. But if you can farm all your bricks over here, it is definitely the safest option. And you're typically not limited by the speed you can get from brick to brick, because the cooldown, you can almost always get to the next brick, and you'll still have the cooldown. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I was going to tap to death. And you'll still have the cooldown up on your Maelstrom vacuum. We now have Vaiski running over. He's got to interact with these bricks. He's going to see a small cutscene. He'll be locked in place for a time. Now, LU has a lot of cutscenes in it. Well, not a lot of cutscenes per se, but a lot of camera movement. A lot of camera movement. Typically, when you accept missions, you'll have a camera movement showing you where to go next. And I believe Vaiski will demonstrate that quite neatly here, as Wisply tells him probably to go to Beck Strongheart in Sentinel Camp, talk to him, or maybe no, Melody Foxtrot. No, Absalon Starcracker will tell you to go to Melody Foxtrot.
Someone in your chat is just saying that You are going insane right now.
How much coffee have I had? I have. It's coffee. Coffee is a very dangerous thing. I'm not allowed caffeine, or I never allow myself caffeine, because if I had caffeine, can you imagine how much faster I'd be talking right now? Can you imagine how much physics I would spout, and how much physics content will be uploaded to Ninja Warlock? And then we have the commentator taking the first heart of damage from this entire run. This shouldn't happen too much, but may occasionally happen as I get too close to things Vaiski is fighting. And as you saw, Vaiski running straight through this area. Right, if you run straight through this area, you can be entirely safe without taking damage. And as you saw, he ran through the crack in these two rocks there. Running through that crack allows him to get the heart flag, which it's not a necessity for this run, but he may well choose to get heart flags and pick them up as he goes along. And as you can see, he goes here. Vaiski evidently aiming for DPS here in this section where he gets up. This is part of the push towards getting free-to-play players to pay for the game, and towards getting, even before free-to-play existed, towards getting people to really realise, hey, LU has lots of stuff to it. There's trying to get players to keep playing. Because this was one thing that that the LU team was a little bit concerned about early on, was the fact that players would spend too much time early game without realising how much stuff there was. And in fact, that is the reason why character create is as limited as it is in terms of equipment, in terms of not equipment, but in terms of shirts and in terms of headpieces. They actually had more originally in earlier versions of LU and removed them because people were spending too much time in character create and they wanted them to get into the game sooner. So we see Vaiski. Vaiski has already smashed enough spiderlings. He's got some good RNG there. Smashed. Went for Paradox to increase his DPS as much as possible, and went and very quickly smashed spiderlings. If you're watching Vaiski's stream, you may have noticed that he did quite a lot of damage and was able to smash the spiderlings very quickly. And this is because certainly faster than a standard rank 2 Space Marauder would be able to. And there we are, the commentator just died. This is the first commentator death outside of the Venture Explorer. This is what happens when Vaiski groups up loads and loads of Stromlings behind him and the commentator runs directly into them. So it's a little bit problematic. The commentator will have to be having to be rapidly catch up. Fortunately, I believe Vaiski is going to be stuck in some camera cutscenes for a while, and you can see where Vaiski's going by the enemies de-aggroing from him. Okay, he will now receive the quest chain. Quest chain now progresses to the monument. Talking monument, and you can see actually Vaiski has had some extra damage dealt to him. I'm going to assume that damage is coming from enemies glitching out whilst he was talking to Beck Strongheart. Beck Strongheart will now send Vaiski to the monument with an important message that the Spider Queen is on a block yard, which will explain to the minifigures around there the cloud of maelstrom on the horizon, or a powerful darkness on the horizon, to quote the LU soundtrack. And Vaiski not being a great speedrunner, they're actually messing up the wall climb there. This wall climb was implemented, or was at least first noted by the speedrunning community by Simon Nietzsche, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. One of the Op Crux devs, or at the time one of the Op Crux devs, has recently left the community, but this was one of the things he's very much helped out with the speedrun community on. And Vaiski is taking the more or less optimal route for picking. I'm actually feeling lightheaded. Vaiski is taking the more or less optimal route for picking up pieces early on in the game. There are some slight. Oh, he has to double back on himself. So, for those who don't know, there is a route you can just more or less walk in a circle here, and you can pick up everything you need. However, there are slight optimizations, even with this, that can be made. For instance, attacking whilst in the air allows you to preserve your momentum, which gets you a little bit of extra speed. And Vaiski, a monument speedrunner, but not necessarily taking the most optimal route here, because this is not something he necessarily does quite regularly. This is still one of the more optimal routes taken. Because you can go in a loop here, and this loop more or less lets you quick build everything. He currently has to quick build a button, he has to quick build a moving platform, and this is some clever strategy we might be seeing from Vaiski here, because typically in many of the routes you take, Wait, okay, he wasn't trying to go up there. He wasn't trying to go up there at all. Okay. And Vaiski, I thought we were seeing some interesting strategy from there, and I was very concerned that I was just about to either muck it up or to lose Vaiski, but it's fine, it's fine. We're still seeing Vaiski. And Vaiski is now completed everything he needs for the quick build. I totally missed him going past me. This is how fast Vaiski is, especially when he's on Quicksicles. Quicksicles is commonly known by many as the drug of the OU community. Certainly many of the speedrunners seem to be on it. It's very, very helpful for improving performance. It is basically speedrunners' performance enhancing drug. Vaiski going for the slightly safer run around the corner there. You can see I didn't use it there and it did not pay off. Vaiski, I've actually totally lost him, but he currently for this stage of the speedrun has to be scaring birds off the monument, which is fine. It means catch up. He'll have to come down once more. Now these birds typically tend to spawn in quite common patterns of places, and it means that by going in certain loops, you can not entirely guarantee, but there is some RNG to it depending on where the server is at. But you can almost all of the time more or less guarantee where they'll be. And you see Vaiski underneath. He is taking the standard route up and around the monument. You can run in there. The monument has one of the greatest areas in LU. It's one of the greatest areas for clever routing and clever path finding, because there are so many different ways you can get from place to place in the monument, and speedrunners have in particular have really taken advantage of this and really found lots of ways. So we will be seeing Vaiski going. Vaiski should now have completed all of his missions down here, and will be sent. We will see a true LU speedrunner fail. We'll see. This is why sometimes it's better to use the quick score and take the safe route. Despite the fact I get memed for taking the safe route a lot of time. So there are multiple different methods you can use to get up and around the monument, depending on where you're going, and depending on what runs you're seeing people do. You'll see them take different routes. There are almost none of the paths on their own up the monument are the optimal path. None of the routes that they actually designed for the game are optimal, but. And here we have Vaiski falling down again. This is why people like me take the safe routes. Slightly safe.
You're getting lightheaded. I'm getting like extremely stressed about this. I feel like my entire existence is being charged right now.
I need a drink. I'm giving myself a sore throat. So thank you, Vaiski, for temporarily talking there. I'm genuinely feeling a tingle in my arms. This is concerning. Okay, and so Vaiski making it across there. The Monument speedrun being the most active speedrun in the speedrun community, we've got right now. This is because it was one of the speedruns very early on that was discovered to be something that was done. There was an existing mission in the game, but was something that could be done by players independent of what server they were using, and so was doable for players in uni, doable for players everywhere. You'll see Vaiski here jumping up and down as he goes down this slope, making extensive use of slope speed. Slope speed is a very important mechanic in LU because of how LU physics works. Every time you go down a slope, you're going to get a little bit of extra speed, and this is very helpful. Great. Now I'm going to commentate the Spider Queen battle without seeing it, because the Spider Queen battle, for those who don't know, is a single player instance, and the Spider Queen battle is the last this is the last major challenge to. Actually, I should swap over characters now, because I can't commentate this battle. Or I could go over to Vaiski stream and commentate this battle, but I need to switch minifigures at some point. Because I need to get a minifigure in place to continue commentating. So I will be going on my properly tankiest account. And we'll be making my way over here. And I will take this as an opportunity to quickly rest my voice. Oh, and I'm being smashed in Crooks Prime.
This is a lot more like a lot more action-packed than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh. This is. Deep breaths. This is the ninja recovery period. It's a very important point of any speedrun, which is where the commentator dies and has to recover and then falls off the platforms in Crooks Prime and can't keep doing this. No, I'm really, genuinely not going to do this because I'm actually getting myself lightheaded. This is several years of playing the trumpet. Was just to prepare me for commentating an LU speedrun in as much of an exciting way as I possibly could. Breathing exercises.
Speak for a moment if you want.
You can hear the spam clicking of someone going as a Spider Queen. Fighting an LU is relatively standard. There aren't too many mechanics you can abuse. Certain mechanics which people do find interesting to abuse are and in particular, you can stun lock enemies. If you time your attack in a particular way, you can stun lock an enemy. Vaiski will not be making use of this in this particular instance, because, well, he may be making use of it on the spiderlings that are spawned. He will not be making use of it in fighting the Spider Queen, because the Spider Queen as a boss cannot be stun locked by attacks. Bosses, you cannot be stunned, and it, in particular, is a little bit confusing to players sometimes in Crux Prime why they cannot stun lock spiderlings. It's sometimes reported as a bug. The reason for this is that certain enemies, even in Crux Prime, count as mini-bosses, and will count towards mini-boss achievements. So, elite spiderlings in Crux Prime will count towards this in the... spiderling invaders in Crux Prime will count to this in the same way as the Spider Queen does. Obviously, one having significantly less health and being significantly easier to defeat than the other. One little known fact about the Spider Queen is that she actually scales, or at least in the original live LU, scales with difficulty according to the level of the player attacking her, which is a little known bit of trivia. Other lesser known bits of trivia about the Spider Queen and about the Spider Queen battle in general include the fact that the spiderlings that are spawned when you fight the Spider Queen have significantly less health than spiderlings you will fight elsewhere in LU, having only... I'm not certain actually how much health they have. I think they might have 5 health each. I'm not certain. It means they can be taken out very, very quickly by the faction gear. And another fact about this is, yes, the trial faction gear you get there is a little bit of mis-selling, because in fact the faction gear that it represents, the rank 2 faction gear, it has significantly different stats. So for instance, you will note that Vaiski will only have the third attack on his hotbar. He will not have the second attack. You do not get the head attack when you get the trial faction gear, but to compensate for that you do get more damage. This is presumably because the OU devs thought that at this point in the game, well, these players can't be trusted. They don't know what they're doing yet. So at this stage in the game, they need to have they need just more DPS. They need to fight in the way they've been taught, and maybe we can begin to teach them a little bit. I'm going to quickly pick up this mission because Vaiski. Wait, we can probably listen and hear what he's doing at the moment.
Right, I'm just at the property, just finishing the property stuff.
You must listen.
Oh. Dang it, I thought okay.
Okay.
This is a very weird experience.
This is a very weird experience. It's a very weird experience for me as well.
I feel like I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna wake up and I'm still gonna hear you speak, and she's now going to make a breakfast and bread.
Vaiski here, he's going to bed. It's a standard speedrunning strategy. It allows most humans actually do this several points in their day, and it's a very, very clever strategy, but it allows them to recover energy for the next day, which is a very, very useful, important strategy, especially if you're trying to go through life and completing as many achievements. If you're a 100% life speedrunner like Vaiski, you really need to carefully consider the energy you go into each day with, because that will limit the amount you can do during that day, which is a mistake often made by rookie speedrunners in the 100% life speedrunning category, which is that they wear themselves out too early on, and lose pace later on. You've got to very quickly pace yourself. Have a good healthy diet, good schedule. Get to bed early every night, except nights when you're speedrunning LU, because obviously 100% speedrun of life, the most important part of that category, the most difficult part of that category, is of course completing a 100% LU achievement, which is in itself part of the 100% life speedrunning challenge. So Vaiski currently probably in the property, or maybe on his way back to Avant Gardens. I'm not going back to Avant Gardens because he will not spend, because I cannot see him in the property, and I will not spend much time in Avant Gardens. And here he is. Spawning in, we can see his standard character. You can many people will. That was not the attack I meant to use. I'm glad it didn't work. And here is where I finally have a little bit of an advantage, because I do have the Batlord helmet, and I can actually keep up with Vaiski, and I will occasionally lag out, apparently. So Vaiski is now coming into the stretch of many LU speedruns, or at least early on, certain challenges were done, ended at around this point, with the challenge of the speedrun being to join a faction as quickly as possible. So the player will already have received, by this point in the game, they'll already have received backing from 2 factions. They'll have received from Beck Strongheart some backing. Beck Stronghold will have tested them. That's the survival minigame earlier. Will test them for entry to the Sentinel faction, and later on they will also be granted the approval of the Paradox faction by Wisp Lee, and shortly afterwards Epsilon Starcracker will grant them some sort of approval of the Nexus Force, which will play a cutscene. No one's entirely certain why that happens there, given you're at that point not approved to join a faction by the Nexus Force. Nobody asks too many questions about this. And Vaiski currently going to complete a mission for Mardulf. Mardulf will ask him to rebuild a rocket, and he's completed that mission. Mardulf asks him to rebuild a rocket and to rebuild it including one of the parts. This is now his confirmation that the Assembly faction has done it, and confirmation that the Assembly faction accepts his entry to Nexus Force. And Nexus J will be telling him that Mardulf is one of the greatest builders around, and he must see great potential in you. Despite the fact that Mardulf accepts literally everybody who does it, and currently on DLU there is a bug, which means he will accept you even if you do not incorporate the piece he's just told you to incorporate. Now, the final faction which Vaiski will need to get approval from is the Venture League. Venture League is represented in this instance by the arguably famous or not famous, depending on who you ask, Johnny Thunder. Johnny Thunder will ask you to run around. He'll begin a series of quests that you will get repeatedly throughout later on in the game. Quests to pick up chests. These chests spawn in various different worlds throughout the game and vary in difficulty from the relatively easy 3 chests in here, which almost everyone who's played will probably remember where they are. Certainly anyone who's played a character recently will remember where they are, and will be able to quickly go to them, to the far more difficult chest challenges in, for instance, Nexus Tower. Vaiski here has got 2 choices for where he goes. He will either go in the direction of the Nexus Tower, the direction of the race place, and will pick up the chest, which is right about here. He jumps down. There's a slight time save you can make by turning around in midair, but it's very, very much not worth it most of the time, because it saves a tiny amount of time, and you can get that with RNG and get that by being faster at running around. And so Vaiski chose this one first, and then secondly, in a little bit of odd design choice, you are asked to return in the direction of Brick Annex. Brick Annex going around to pick up a second chest, and Vaiski looks initially like he was going in the direction to pick up the backpack flags, then maybe just didn't remember exactly where the chest was, then goes around and picks up the chest. This presumably is to introduce you to the Starbase area, where there is also there is a backpack flag. There are two backpack flags in this area. There are backpack flags all over here, but especially on DLU at the moment, there's not a huge incentive to go and to pick up backpack flags. Vaiski going slightly in an interesting direction, given he's trying to return to Johnny Thunder, but he returns it, it's fine, he's going to return to Johnny Thunder. I feel like I may have accidentally said Master Temple instead of Johnny Thunder earlier, which is very much an incorrect thing to say. And also, you'll notice I'm currently only holding a Serrated Horizon in one hand at the moment. This is a bug on DLU, which is related to how proxy items are implemented. I know proxy items are how the things work. I don't know if that's currently what's going on. And Vaiski there just disappearing off into the void. This is known as client server lag, which is quite funny to watch sometimes.
Pretty sure I actually just did that. I just wanted to crash the toilets.
Yeah, I was slightly confused by that. Vaiski, like so many people who enjoyed playing Looney back in the day, may have really gotten some Looney nostalgia out of that, because as people who played Looney back in the day will know, those were the only Smashables that appeared anywhere in Looney 0.5.1, which was the very earliest version of LU that was kind of easily runnable, easily able to be run by people with very little ability, such as me. And yes, so Vaiski is now making one of the most important decisions of his speedrun, which is which faction he will join. I suspect he'll probably be joining Venture, because Venture gives him speed boost, but he's not running in the direction of Venture yet, he's running instead in the direction of Paradox. So Vaiski here has chosen probably wisely that if he wants to be doing a dragon battle, it probably makes the most sense to go DPS rather than speed, because speed is something that if you're not planning on going for a very long time on a character, you can easily just afford Quixicles and buy loads of Quixicles in advance and keep getting speed boost from there. For people who are planning on doing things for maybe longer or planning on doing certain races, Venture League is often a cleverer choice, because Venture League, some of its speed boosts don't actually count in the same speed boost category as, say, you'll notice my Quixicles and my Speedy Cap count, as in being the same speed boost kind of effect as my Batlord helmet, because in LU, in order to prevent you abusing things by getting like constant uptime on speed boosts, most speed boosts do not have this ability. However, do not have this ability to be used alongside other speed boosts. And here we see Vaiski making possibly the most important decision of this entire run, which is he is going straight to Forbidden Valley. If he's going to fight a dragon, there are multiple ways you can do this. But Vaiski is taking the option to just go straight to Forbidden Valley. Get to Forbidden Valley as soon as possible, because Forbidden Valley is possibly... There are two options. Two options for getting weapons and for getting geared. Or two options for this speedrun in general. If you're fighting a dragon, you have the aim of either go get to the dragon as soon as possible, but don't have very good gear, and so you need to spend more time fighting the dragon, or try and gear yourself up a little bit. And those two different methods would have chosen two different options at the point of picking up your faction. They would have chosen, if you're trying to get to the dragon as quickly as possible, you want to go Venture League. If you're trying to go for DPS to fight the dragon, you'll probably want to go Paradox. Maybe... if you were trying to really go DPS, the meta is probably to go Sentinel Power Jouster. However, Vaiski is obviously not going to be running all the way to getting a Valiant in this run, and so here he'll be seeing we'll see some interesting decisions. So there's a variety of tactics you can use to try and get to the dragon as quickly as possible. One of them involves... Oh, the rescued ninjas. Nice. The rescued ninja. Hello. Sorry. I should know that as a ninja myself. Okay, and so you'll see Vaiski picking up all the missions on the way here. This is because there is a very, very important barrier. You saw a barrier we just skipped there a minute ago. That barrier can only be bypassed using the kind of clever routes around, or by using a special ninja hood. That barrier we saw there can be bypassed by other routes around. However, not every barrier in Forbidden Valley, there is a second barrier, and not every barrier has a bypass. In particular, the game doesn't want you to be going into these more dangerous areas and fighting these more dangerous enemies if you're unprepared, and so it forces you to complete a series of missions and complete a quest chain over here. A quest chain which involves you demonstrating you are able to fight Ronin, able to fight horsemen. And this quest chain involves you going to multiple of the ninja here, completing one quest chain for each of the ninja in this tree. And after you've completed this quest chain, you'll be granted a ninja hood. This ninja hood allows you to go through certain gates I was nearly said Ninjago, in Forbidden Valley, and these gates can be skipped. However, skipping them requires you go to Nexus Tower, requires you pick up spring shoes from Olivia Nightshade, and these spring shoes are an expensive item, especially if you're potentially considering getting extra gear in order to make the fight faster, make the fight shorter. These may not be something you want to pick up. They're also... I suspect, given Vaiski didn't realise he was going to be doing necessarily a dragon battle speedrun until we started talking about this beforehand. I suspect this was not planning that occurred in advance for going there and preparing for exactly how to do this. And these are a very, very expensive way of doing a very, very short clip. There's also a secondary benefit, which Vaiski probably has planned out in going on this route, which is the fact that if he goes on this route, he's going to have the opportunity to get more powerful weapons, get more powerful items, and this may well help him out in fighting. Here, because Forbidden Valley has every area in LU has a different tiers of loot, different things you can get in the area, and Forbidden Valley often loot tiers are a little bit hit and miss, but there are definitely achievements, definitely things you can get while smashing things in Forbidden Valley, which you would not be able to get elsewhere, and they grant you little speed boosts. I've just lost Vaiski. I'm going to assume he went down here. Which direction did you go?
I'm back up.
Okay, the game just...
I like blanked out for like 10 minutes or something, and then you started speaking like, he made a mistake, and I'm like, wait, what?
I was very confused by where you just disappeared.
Yeah. I picked the wrong class. I was supposed to pick the sorcerer. What I mean.
Pick a sorcerer.
I guess this works.
Okay, and I guess he's currently going around. So what you saw there with him apparently jumping off, that's an example of client-server lag. That's where the server, which is sending media information about where Vaiski is going, hasn't updated the fact that Vaiski isn't in fact walking, and so it just continues sending off into the void. His client later updates the server and reminds him it's in the tree, but by that point I've already jumped off the tree. This is something that very commonly seen in commentators. And okay, so we see Vaiski has a series of challenges to do, a series of missions to do at the moment. One of them involves him going around smashing shrines. One of these shrines is over here in the Mantis area. Many people don't realise these areas each have a particular animal associated with them. They all do. And this is the Mantis area. The Mantis area. This is the first area you'll fight Ronins, and probably the first area you'll experience. In Forbidden Valley. Well, it will be the first area you experience in Forbidden Valley. If you're managing to experience another area, that there's a problem with the server you're on. And at this point, yes, you may notice that there are certain things smashed over here that Vaiski smashed. This was almost certainly not intentional and is a bug. A bug in not a bug in DLU, a bug in actually the live game. Where sorry, I should stop distracting the Ronin. A bug in the live game where can I just de-aggro this guy? A bug in the live game where certain attack priorities are a little bit messed up. Why are they all running towards me? And the player's auto aim will attack certain things before other things. In particular, this leads to the player attacking in certain areas, potentially smashables over enemies. And those Ronin really aren't having much luck getting to me. So here we are introduced to kind of a bit of lore for Forbidden Valley, a bit of lore that there was the there were many battles previously carried out here, and the Maelstrom infected these statues of Ronin, and they're bringing these Ronin to life. And what you'll find here is that when previous versions of DLU, as you ran by, the Ronin would damage you. I'm not certain as to whether or not that is live accurate in this current version of DLU. The simply going near a statue will cause a Ronin to spawn, but it will not cause the statue to damage you. These Ronin also have a notable feature that they do despawn over time. If you want to grind Ronin achievements, however, this is not the best place to grind smashing Ronin achievements in the game. And here we see Vaiski getting smashed here. This isn't a major time loss because he will respawn in the same area. But this is one of the significant difficulties involved in fighting Ronin, which is that especially if you're a relatively new player to this particular area, sorry, to clarify, that is not saying Vaiski is not experienced, but if your character is new, you can find yourself often very much spawn killed because they deal lots of damage in quite quick succession, and they can group up quite quickly on you. Vaiski there managing to get away, managing to get out of what could be a spawn kill loop. He only manages to get away because the server is a little bit bugged and has him currently stuck on 0 health, at which point none of the Ronin can damage you. This is something that happens on DLU. This is a current bug which happens when an enemy attempts to continue to smash you when the game already thinks you're smashed, and therefore you cannot be smashed a second time, and you end up on 0 health. This is arguably not live accurate, but you know, we'll pretend it doesn't happen. I'm holding only one Serratorizer, that's not live accurate either. So Vaiski going down, he's now got to continue this mission. He's going down to the dragon area where he'll probably fight off a horseman. He has 2 current. I'm lagging severely out. That lag there is related to the game loading stuff in, and there's quite a large area that's being loaded in right now, which will be where Vaiski goes to the dragon battle later on. I'm taking a sip of water. Oh, God, my throat hurts. Okay, so Vaiski picking up Ronin. Still got to smash multiple Ronin for an achievement, but is deciding to pick those up along the way as a little bit of a safer option. Okay, so yes, so he has currently got 2 missions. We've currently got a couple of missions. One mission will probably be to smash Ronin, one of them will probably be to smash Horseman. I don't, if I'm honest, remember all of the missions he has at the moment. But one of the important ones, which is kind of to teach you, I think this comes before the smashing Ronin and the smashing Horseman mission, is you see what he did there, is you can get a running jump. This is a clever way of avoiding needing to use a gun, which was the intended strategy by the devs for this particular quick build. So the mission involves smashing a, I don't know, like a head of some sort, a statue above a gargoyle, perhaps above the crypt. You're asked to smash multiple of these and rebuild them into these small things. These small things were put here by the devs in order to prevent players basically getting repeatedly spawn killed, allowing players to perhaps lower levels who are newer to the game to maybe control the horsemen, and it will prevent horsemen spawning. Vaiski has actually currently decided to go to go without his faction gear. This is honestly a pretty good decision quite often early on in runs, because very early on the rank 1 faction gear is actually not as good as some of the faction gear you can get, especially in terms of armor. It's not as good as the rank 1 faction gear is not as good as some of the gear you can get when running around in Avant Gardens, and so particularly low level players may find that it's significantly easier to run around in the gear they accumulated over Avant Gardens than it is to run around in faction gear. Faction gear tends to have attacks that do more DPS, but it tends to lack armor, and tends to be worse for that factor. Vaiski now has to go through and smash. He may have to rebuild one more quick build. He also has to smash a gong. I'm going to let the statues attack him because I'm a good friend. And so he has to go through this area, and this is Cavalry Hill. Cavalry Hill been known. Oh, he doesn't know the skip. Cavalry Hill is was known by many players in live as being a brilliant place to go and grind, because you can stand at the top, especially early game. This is a brilliant place to grind up faction tokens, because you can stand at the top of those stairs there, and those 3 horsemen are unable to do much damage to you. They will just keep attacking you. But they will be unable to walk. They can't chase you. Therefore, they're very easy to control. You know their movements. They're easy. They're very easy to control. They're very easy to predict. Vaiski now going up, going to smash another one of the heads on the top of the statue of the crypt, going around, missing this one's one of the more difficult ones. Vaiski, again, having no idea this was going to turn into a Forbidden Valley run, may not have exactly remembered what all the strats are to get these, because this was very much just out of the blue that this was going to be the track of battle. So literally this was decided like a minute before. Vaiski there healing himself up quickly, because he's being chased by horsemen. Now, for those who don't know, the horsemen in LU have 2 attacks, both of which are varying degrees of dangerous, and that, as you saw there, as you would have seen there, was one of the more dangerous attacks horsemen can do. I'm not entirely certain where Vaiski would respawn, or if he just decided to head off. I think he may have just decided to head off, so I will follow him back to the Great Tree. I think, unless the game lagged out. You are going back to the Great Tree, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's I don't have enough Maelstrom Freaks to rebuild the turret thing.
Yes. So, as I was about to mention, there are a limited number of things in the game which actually require you to have Maelstrom Bricks used. The Maelstrom Bricks often just take up a lot of space in one's inventory, but there are certain things in the game which require Maelstrom Bricks to be used. One of those is an exchange converter. There are two exchanges which exist in Nimbus Station and exist in Nexus Tower. These two things allow you to exchange Maelstrom Bricks for faction tokens. However, there are other uses for Maelstrom Bricks do exist. In particular, there are certain missions for Wisp Lee and Who Where will... I think something just happened and you just entirely disappeared on my screen. I'm assuming you continued over... You're back at Cavalry Hill?
Yeah, I'm at the lowest route.
At the...
Oh. Yeah. The
oh, okay. Oh, and I'm just dead anyway. Okay, I will catch up with you in a second.
Yeah, that's fine. It's 10 p.m.
God, have I been doing this? It feels like it's longer than an hour. I suspect it has. It has only been an hour, or has it? Did we start it? Yeah, no, it's been an hour for me. I think.
I mean, I think like maybe for you it feels like it's a longer time because you have to do so much in a little second.
Okay,
for me it feels like time is speeding up because there's so many things just happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been going for 15 minutes and then I'm like, wait, I look at my time, it's 50 minutes. I'm like, oh.
Okay. So we see Vaiski finally having picked up enough Maelstrom Bricks to complete this. There are limited uses for Maelstrom Bricks and no other uses for Maelstrom Bricks in the speedrun aside from rebuilding these basically turrets that are designed by the devs to basically give players an alternative to kind of recover in between horsemen. Because for those who don't know, the horsemen in LU do respawn, especially on Cavalry Hill. They respawn very, very quickly, and so these things are designed by the devs to allow players just a little bit of a useful chance to recover. When in the middle of fighting or grinding or whatever. So, Vaiski now presumably still completing either are you grinding for Maelstrom Bricks or Ronin smashing achievement or mission? Maelstrom Bricks. Okay, and so yes, yeah, Maelstrom Bricks have a limited usage in LU, but one of their usages is building these. In order to build on these shrines, you need a certain number of Maelstrom Bricks. We also see Vaiski being quite careful around this Horseman. Now, the Horsemen in LU are predictable, but are also potentially very, very, very dangerous. Horsemen in LU, as I began to say earlier, have 2 attacks. These 2 attacks both have varying degrees of danger. One of them will knock them down. This is typically fine unless you are at risk of being swarmed by other nearby enemies. However, there is a second attack they can do, which is far, far more dangerous, especially if you're in close quarters and directly fighting one. And the second attack is, ironically, their ranged attack, which involves them shooting out simultaneously 3 orbs of energy. These orbs of energy are very similar in mechanics to many of the orbs of energy shot out by other enemies in the game. However, each single orb of energy here does 3 damage, and if the player is close enough, to a Maelstrom Horseman at this point in time, all of these orbs will hit the player simultaneously and will deal 9 damage, which will smash most players in a single hit. So this is why farming Horsemen is simultaneously a brilliant option for getting Maelstrom Bricks, but can also be quite dangerous at the same time. So we see Vaiski is now going around. He's completed the missions he needs to do. Completed most of it. Smashing the bells. Smashing the bells is required for this person who isn't Gathermaster Klex. Oh, it is. Okay, I take it back. I have better memory than I remember. This person smashing those for Gathermaster Klex, and this gets a very, very important item. This item is going to be extremely useful for Vaiski in the speedrun because it is quite a high damage weapon. This weapon is the. I don't think it's called the Maelstrom Hammer. It's called the Dragon Hammer, or one of the hammers, and it's a very important item because it allows you to smash these red glowing quick, well, potentially some of these are quick builds. Quite a few of them actually are quick builds around this area. It allows you to smash these red glowing smashables. Now, this is useful in and of itself, and these are required for certain mission progression. However, what's a very, very important feature of this weapon is that it is possibly the most powerful weapon the player is likely to get at this stage in the game. It deals 3 damage, I believe, which is around the damage you would expect to be dealing at rank 2. However, and the way the devs plan for the game to be run through, this would not be a problem. This would not be a particularly more powerful weapon, and in fact, most of the stuff you will get in Forbidden Valley will actually be significantly weaker than this. However, in this particular instance, because you're assumed to, at the point where you go to Forbidden Valley, you're assumed to be rank 2, and in fact, you will receive a message the first time you go to Forbidden Valley telling you that you should be rank 2. You should not be here if you are not rank 2. However, Vaiski is a mad lad who does not listen to the words of, Vander Darkflame in his particular case. Your faction leader will message you. I think it's just your faction leader. It might always be one. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't actually care. And Vaiski doesn't care, and this means that actually this weapon will constitute a serious rank up. You will also notice that there are certain although the vast majority of drops in Forbidden Valley are not any more useful than those in Avant Gardens, and actually often mimic the drop tables of Avant Gardens, there are some drops in here which are significantly more, not drops so often, but achievement items and things you can buy which have significantly more health and give you significantly more armor, which are very powerful items. Vaiski, as you can see right now, is wearing this hat. I believe that's an achievement item or a mission item you get, and that hat is, I believe, like 2 or 3 armor. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's significantly more armor than you would have for any item up until this point in LU, as you play through it normally. And Vaiski is now, he's got his hammer. So this hammer is going to be a major source of damage, and I believe may have just completed the mission. Well, he just went up to talk to Nunchuck. Nunchuck is the ninja master hiding at the top of a tree, and will importantly give you the mission to defeat a dragon. Technically, I believe you do not need to do these missions in this order. Wait, I need to actually equip my hat so I can get through. As does Vaiski. Wait, okay. I just stun-locked myself because I'm an idiot. So this gate is skippable, and it may be faster to skip it. However, it will not necessarily be faster to skip this gate if it means you don't have any weapons to fight the dragon with, and this is quite an important thing that is worth considering. Vaiski there again going for the fast route down there, which is not to jump on the bouncer. The bouncer's slow. That's a slow, and Vaiski on Speedrun knows this and just dives off to his death. Okay, I may hop in this game with you. I think I won't take part obviously, but just so I can commentate at least the end of the speedrun.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll hop in. And I will instantly get ready to battle, so I do not take up any of Vaiski's precious time. Actually, technically that may have been... Oh no, you'd already joined, so it wasn't no time save. There we are. Okay. As we are, this is the culmination. Vaiski will probably continue to smash all 3 of these dragons, but I believe the original challenge for this was just to smash a single dragon. So, this is possibly the first time I think anyone has actually bothered to speedrun smashing dragons as quickly as possible in LU, or smashing a dragon as quickly as possible in LU. So this will almost certainly be a world record. Here goes. Vaiski making a very tactical maneuver, and by very tactical maneuver, I do not mean very tactical maneuver. It makes literally no difference. I'm going for this particular dragon first. All of the dragons in this area deal the same amount of damage, have basically the same stats. You will notice various things in this battle. Firstly, you'll notice the series of... I should stay back so that I do not get targeted. You should notice this. You'll notice the series of attacks the dragon has. Now, none of these attacks can be stopped by the player. The dragons count as mini-bosses or bosses and therefore cannot be stun-locked. However, you will notice that also some of these attacks cannot be dodged. In particular, the attack that just got used by the dragon is currently broken on DLU and will hit you anywhere. This is potentially problematic. Now here we have the second potential difficulty, but also potentially brilliant part for anybody trying to fight the dragon. You see Vaiski getting down to some quite low health here, but this is fine, because one of the benefits of these Ronin spawning in is that they drop a large number of drops. Wait a second, are you getting those health drops, Vaiski? Or is us being on a team? Okay.
I mean, you can take them.
Oh no, I didn't know if us being on a team was causing problems. If you were seeing them. Okay, so yes, so you are placed automatically into a team with someone when you are moved into the dragon battle. However, the teams do not work in the same way teams elsewhere in LU do. So Vaiski currently mostly has to do DPS. It's mostly a case of DPS and just being very, very careful of health. However, there are 2 benefits to the fact that Vaiski is not relying on faction gear here. Firstly, one of the benefits is the fact that, well, the faction gear at the moment doesn't really have much armor, wouldn't be much help. But the second benefit is the fact that because he's using faction gear, he's not reliant on using the whole kit of faction gear in order to get any bonuses, which means he's able to keep the Maelstrom Hammer to hand and use the Maelstrom Hammer at all times. What this or the Maelstrom Hammer, I don't remember what it's called, the hammer. What this means is that he'll be able to, if things get really desperate, he'll be able to run to the back and smash this gong. This gong cannot be smashed by a normal weapon, as I can demonstrate here now. Oh, it is a Maelstrom hammer, I was right all along. It cannot be smashed by a normal weapon, but can be smashed by this hammer, and gives the player a nice source of extra health if they are at a difficult point. However, it seems unlikely Vaiski is going to need that during this run, mostly for the fact that Vaiski is currently relying on the Paradox faction consumable. These consumables are very, very helpful to anyone fighting large bosses, because they give you large amounts of simultaneously health, imagination, and armor, and means that even if you're not actively trying to use imagination, your imagination, as long as you regularly use them, will be kept up by this. Now, Vaiski here managing to get this build in. You want to be very, very careful. This is the most important. That quick build is the most important part. Okay, thank God. Quick build is the most important part of an LU speedrun, and I've just got some free loot out of this. This was the whole plan. I've been doing this for an hour, solely for the sake of getting some free loot. There we are.
Alright, well that's basically the speedrun done, so
yeah.
Beat the other dragons with me, then that's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to. Oh. Okay, yeah. Which ones do we want to go to?
I mean, you can choose. It's weird making choices when when you feel like there's people watching me, but it's even more hard when you feel it's just like a
when
constant voice in my ear talking about every single one of my decisions.
yeah, a single decision, and when I will criticize you for doing something, when Vaiski's just doing the speedrun, he's not been he did not know we were going to be doing this. He has had no preparation, and I'm like commenting on strategies that like only I know and or think about, and I'm commenting on Vaiski has not used this strategy. It's like, no, of course not.
I mean, there was a few times when you were like, now he's gonna use this strategy, and then I do it, and I'm, oh no, I do something, and then you're like, yeah, you just used this strategy. I was like, yes, that was not an accident. Yes, definitely. Yes.
Remind me not to do that again.
So what's up? Someone said my name in your chat. Hello, it is me, Vaiskinator. I don't think I've used that name, but yes.
The man, the myth, the
someone in chat also asked about what the vlog in your name means, or if it does mean without loss of generosity.
It does mean does not mean without loss of generosity. It means it's a. Oh, oops, that was really bad. Let me just check. Yes, it does mean without loss of generality, which is a little bit ironic that I am currently doing an LU stream, but yes, the Warlog is referring to without loss of generality. Oh, you also died. Rip. It refers to without loss of generality, mostly because the idea of this channel was it would be where I could put whatever the heck I liked up, including random maths content, including 3 hours of me doing maths. Now, oh wait, no, I forgot. I can speak more slowly. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just out of habit now talking really quickly.
It's just happening the same thing we talked about earlier, where you're gonna wake up.
I'm gonna wake up commentating on Vaiski. Vaiski won't be there, but I will instinctively know what Vaiski is doing. Yes, Vaiski is currently putting milk on his cornflakes. This is a classic move from LU speedrunners. The cornflake strategy is a very famous strategy used by certain people in the LU community.
God. Oh no, I died again.
Don't worry, because I can help out now. I can actually be of some use.
My brain is like dying.
You have no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, oh god.
Did we both hate that as much as I did?
I loved it and hated it at the same time.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. It's kind of that was fun to do, but also awful. And my throat really hurts.
Yeah, like went in 3 phases. Like in the start, it was fun. Then at one point, it started to hurt my brain, and then it became fun again.
And then at the final point, it was just like,
yeah,
this is life now. Oh wait, I can possibly. I think someone said the engineer turret is fixed.
Oh nice.
Let's give it a go. Yes, it is. Doesn't really do much damage, but then again, I'm Summoner Gang. So the cleaning robot, or the create bot, which looks identical to a cleaning robot, is actually kind of like OP. It does do like good damage, and it kind of is tanky as well. It's like quite nice. Right. Well, I want to see if I can. Oh, wait a second. Did we miss the quick build? Or did it not spawn?
I don't think so. Pretty sure it's supposed to spawn like at the exact moment he loses all armor. Oh wait.
Yeah, he has, but we didn't see it.
Well,
minor bug. Such is life. Okay, what I'm hoping, I was kind of hoping for that though, because what I want to do is get on top, and whilst on top.
Oh no! Oh god!
I don't think it will do damage, but it's. I think
it might do because like my melee.
He knocked me out of it. He knocked me out.
But that's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Oh no!
Did you just get knocked off?
Yeah, I was on top of him. He shrugged me to tell.
I remember watching Jumbo do these right when it came out, and he had I think his health. It was either his health. He had either 69 health or 69 armor, because
Nice.
funny, yeah, but of course he was just dying to being knocked off because even with like loads and loads of health, you are not safe.
Oh, nice to kill him.
I figured I had to give a little bit back to you after stealing your kill. Obviously, simultaneously, 2 of Brick Girl's characters are online at once. This is the classic friends list. Friends list fun.
Alright, so 1 dragon left.
1 dragon left.
Oh god.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite throw the big one in time.
No, it's fine. I run out of consumables, so my strats don't work.
The tank everything strat is broken. Please
Yes,
fix.
I'll each boy strat of just using tank before dragon fight on consumable.
I mean, that is in fairness me on hardcore LU runs when I'm just like, yes, I will buy more spring shoes. I will have 5 of your finest spring shoes. One of them is literally just to shoot down the. Is it X-ray? No, that's not. It's not X-ray. Whichever the guy who asks you to shoot down that crate in.
Oh yeah.
On the station, yeah, one of them is solely for the purpose of shooting down that crate. Because your standard like firecracker consumables will not knock that crate down.
Wait, I was still wondering, if because you are assembly, can you give me armor? Is that
Sorry.
possible?
Yes, I was using a different weapon, but yes, can go over to that.
Yeah.
Let's go
Thanks.
over to this. No worries.
Maybe
No
that
worries.
way I don't die every
Sorry,
second.
yeah. Okay, let's get ready to build. Okay, go. Oh wait,
Oh,
is it bugged? It's bugged. Bugged. Rip. Guess we gotta do this the hard way.
oh.
Sorry, I will. Do you
By the
want
way,
to?
congrats on killing Butterscotch in hardcore LU.
Pardon? What did you say?
Yeah, just congrats on that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Ah, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was.
I think I forgot to say anything about it.
No.
I might have just said something like nice, and then I was like,
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
it's a great achievement.
I mean, it's still technically. I should really stop using that right as I'm about to be knocked back, because now I'm just stuck over here. I will give you some armor in a sec when I can move again. Oh no, no, no!
Oh,
I was stun locked.
I did it. I died.
Yeah, I saw. I could not. I could save myself from death, but not others. The less altruistic version of that quote.
Wait, what did you say?
I could
Sorry,
I could save myself from death, but not others.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
GG.
you can open it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you got a scorpion shield. Cool.
Ooh, green gem. Actually, not the most expensive gem, you know. Well, there you are. There you are. Thank you to anyone who was decided to watch this. This random middle of the day stream.
Yeah.
I guess not middle of the day for you, Vaiski, but I guess it kind of
Yeah.
began middle of the day for me, and I think lots of.
Fair.
I think it's
I
middle
mean-
of the day, yes.
Next week, not next week. No, I'm nothing. Don't listen to me.
Week
It's not
after,
schedule anything.
maybe. Well, also it's definitely not next week because I'm
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point, Vaiski and I are planning to do a second thing where hopefully I have to talk less. And in fact, I'm probably going to try and stay quiet for as much of that as possible, just so you don't know where I am. Yeah, Vaiski is going to be trying to murder me whilst I try and do a hardcore LU run. Because that seems like a good idea at the time. Don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be a problem because I'm just gonna be running at you at speedsicles at every moment.
Yeah, I know. I've got to... We may have to do like a head start or something. I get a slight head start. And...
That challenge is just gonna be like the movie The Silent Place, but like, I'm going at 5 minutes. Like, you make a slight movement, I'm like, I know your location now.
Yeah. I've got to be very, very quiet. The thing... I don't know. I'm hoping in Avant Gardens at the very least. I know. I feel Avant Gardens. If I can evade you early on, I think I've got like, I know tricks. If I can get like a little, like, I think there are out of bounds tricks I can do, maybe stuff like that, which might. Actually, I can't out of bounds even, can I?
I mean, I don't know how out of bounds would help you. I would just look at you like,
well,
you're gonna have to move from there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, assuming we're doing you can't attack me whilst I'm stuck in a mission dialogue, that could be useful getting place to place, but we'll see. Yeah, I also should not be strategizing with Vaiski next to me.
Yeah, I'm just writing
virtually
notes.
next to me.
How the Commentate is.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's not a great strategy if I want to do this, but yeah, so that will be occurring at some point, but probably, knowing my organisation, several months' time. We were discussing earlier how Vaiski used to actually try and upload with a schedule, and now after having spent like a year or so, how long has it been now? Yes,
it's been like oh god, yeah, it's been like a year. Wait, has it? Yeah, I think
it's been
a year.
Yeah, having spent
like
year and a half, I think. Having spent like a year and a half editing for me, he's now lost all sense of a schedule himself. Like, goodbye upload schedule. Like, I have been so bad at doing uploads because, like, yeah, that Vaiski has now become bad at it as well. It's rubbed off. This is peak being incompetent. Yeah, to those who watched, and to anyone watching later on, thank you very much for watching. I am going to, I don't know, take some strepsils, I think. some like sore throat medicine, gotta.
Thanks to everyone else who was watching my side.
I have just given myself like COVID, I think.
Oh no.
I've spoken too quickly. Gave myself sore throat, ergo Delta variant.
Oh god. Yeah. This outro is exactly like all of your videos that I have. Okay, let's just end it now before it's like 5.
Yeah.